Hello, welcome back to Teen Story Share. This week we're continuing Where the Dark Stands Still by A.B. Puranik. And if you missed last week's chapter, that will be linked down below. This is a dark fantasy inspired by Polish folklore, and there will be a synopsis down below if you're interested. Today we're reading Chapter 2, Trees with Too Many Eyes. Darkness leaps forth like a predator, swallowing the world. All that remains is the silhouette of the canopy above, angular leaves carving moonlight into mangled scraps. Liska loses the reins on her fear, and it breaks free in her chest, an overwhelming torrent. Her journey becomes a blind stumble, hands scraping against rough bark and pricking on briars. Twigs catch her face, tangling in her hair until her braids come loose. Paranoia claws at the pit of her stomach, causing her magic to stir. Calm. She needs to calm down before she loses control. She begins to hum once more, as quietly as she can, focusing on the rise and fall of the melody and willing her heartbeat to match. She reaches the second verse just as she sees him. A white stag. He rises out of the fog as if made from it, silken mist lapping at his flanks and frothing at his hooves like whitewater. His antlers arch forward, forming a majestic crown, built of uncountable birch-pale tines. Such appendages should only be an impediment in a forest, yet they do not tangle in the boughs above. In fact, it seems as if the trees bow away from him, pulling back their branches in deference. The creature's oval pupils lock upon Liska, and the song dies on her lips. Hello, she breathes, and then gives a curtsy for good measure. It seems appropriate, if silly. The stag cocks his head. His eyes are fern green, forlorn and ancient, as if he has seen centuries of Orlika's history unravel before his eyes. I don't suppose you know the way to the fern flower. He gives a snort that sounds both exasperated and amused. Despite the fright, Liska's cheeks warm. Well, she says, flustered, if you're not here to help, then I suppose you're here to eat me. Best get on with it, then. The stag takes a step forward. His hooves leave luminous marks in the damp earth. At least I'll be feeding something lovely, Liska reasons, her heart in her throat. Better than a shugun or a bies. Another snort from the stag, a sound more human than it has any right to be. He takes one more step toward her, then wheels around abruptly. Before she can cry out, he bounds away into the wood, leaving glowing hoof prints behind. The marks remain, pulsing in the dark, looking almost like a trail. But to where? Liska hesitates. She knows too well the tales of beautiful demons, of golden-haired Południka, wielding blood-smeared sickles, and Rusalka with their enchanted song, showing men their deepest desires to seduce them to watery graves. This could be a trick, is likely a trick, but it is the best option she has. She follows the stag's prints. They fade as soon as she passes them, leaving light ahead and darkness behind. Slowly, the wood loosens its chokehold, trunks straightening primly and haze lifting to reveal a tapestry of feathery moss. The stag's trail disappears abruptly, abandoning Liska at the lip of a river, a seething ink-black thing spilling from between twin crooked conifers. Moonlight shines in great beams around her, and the light is a relief, even if the stag's absence makes her anxious. What is this place? Liska whispers. She dares not speak louder. Why bring me here? She kneels hesitantly by the river, pine needles sharp against her palms as she leans forward to catch her breath. Thoughts of home come creeping in. By now, the villagers have likely gathered in the main square, dancing joyously as a fiddle croons. Perhaps Father Pavel is saying blessings, or young couples are holding hands and leaping over the bonfire. Oh, how she wishes to be among them. Before longing can find her, a melody does. It is unmistakable. Someone is singing nearby, a haunting tune that flows and eddies. The notes caress Liska, guiding her to her feet. They are comforting, warm as a kind embrace or a blazing hearth in midwinter. Come home, Liska Radost, they say. Your quest is over. You have found your place. Liska blinks. There is a person standing upriver, as if they had been there all along. A beautiful woman, naked, flaxen curls, clinging to her breasts and arms outstretched in welcome. "Come, Liska, come," she sings. Liska nods, lightheaded. She is smiling, though she does not remember why. She also does not remember when she started walking, but she is now close enough to count the joints of the woman's overlong fingers. A pang in her chest draws her up short. The feeling is dreadfully familiar, like butterflies trapped in the brittle cage of her ribs. A warning. Her magic is awake, and it is warning her. Suddenly, the woman's image flickers. Her flesh sinks against her bones, stringy hair dripping rivulets onto the scabby skin where her lips should be. When Liska recoils, the woman's glassy eyes widen and her shape changes again. In her place stands Mama, with her spotless apron and severe expression. She approaches Liska, steely eyes softening, and reaches out to take her hands. "Come home, Liska." This time, Liska ignores the warning in her chest. She wants nothing more than to take those hands, to feel the firm certainty of their grip. And that smile! How long has it been since she last saw her mother smile? "You've done it, Slonechko," Mama repeats, gentler now. "It's over. Come home with me." Liska blinks. Slonechko. That was Tata's nickname for her, but never Mama's. Blunt, pragmatic, Dobrava Radost is not one for endearments. Her mother is not here. Liska flinches away, pressing her palms to her eyes. When she opens them again, Mama's face warps, her smile stretching wider, impossibly wide, showing glimpses of needle-like teeth and a pale, thin tongue. "You're wrong," Liska whispers to the creature. "Mama wants to send me away." She runs for the river. The woman, no, Rusalka, dives. She melts into the murky waters, vanishing in the current. Refusing to turn back, Liska leaps off the river's bank and lands on the opposite side, knees buckling from the impact. She slips in the mud just as the Rusalka emerges behind her, lipless mouth gaping in a screech and bony fingers scrabbling for Liska's skirts. Liska gasps. She grips a fallen log and anchors herself, kicking with all her might. Her heel strikes something brittle that cracks like an eggshell. The accompanying shriek tells her that she has kicked the Rusalka. The demon releases her. After a heartbeat, the water grows still and silent. Liska exhales shakily, braving a glance over her shoulder. The Rusalka leaps out of the water and seizes the straps of her gorset. Liska does not have the time to scream. The world tilts as she is yanked off her feet and slammed backward into the glacial torrent, bubbles filling her vision. Slimy fingers close around her throat. Terror clenches Liska's innards as gritty river water fills her nostrils. Darkness above and below as she is pulled down, down. The river is far deeper than it looks, and through water-blurred vision she can see the pearly flashes of bones lining the riverbed. Panic seizes her, followed by a delirious sort of amusement. "That's it then," she thinks. "I will die and become ghastly decor." But something inside her resists. It wakes with the flutter of 1,000 trapped wings, shoving painfully against the cage of her chest. Her magic, responding to her panic. It shatters through her skin in a bloom of blinding light, taking its usual shape. Butterflies, a cloud of them, whirling and erratic. The burst of power shoves away the Rusalka, but not before her nails rake painfully across Liska's throat. Liska does not waste a moment. She kicks off the demon's chest, propelling herself toward the bank, and breaks the surface with a gasp. Shuddering, she scrambles onto the rocks, barely pausing to cough up putrid water before righting herself on the sticky bark of a pine tree. She looks over her shoulder, expecting pursuit, but there is nothing. The Rusalka is gone. The wood is still. Liska staggers into a run. She does not stop, not even when she leaves the comfort of the river's moonlit clearing. Sweat coats her neck, and her pulse roars to the nauseating thrum of magic hammering at her chest. She needs to get away, away from that horrible river. Yet no matter how far she runs, she cannot find relief. These are the stories of her childhood given life, transformed from nightmares into reality. She cannot even find comfort in her magic. It protected her this time, yes, because it chose to, unlike the last time when it left blood on her hands and death in her wake. It can never be trusted. She needs to end this, and soon. But where is the flower? As if hearing her question, a familiar shape appears in a copse up ahead, its antlered head angled toward her. The stag. Liska starts toward him, but the creature vanishes in a swirl of mist. "Wait!" she exclaims, panting, then laughs at her own folly. "You're doing this on purpose, aren't you?" There's no answer, only the sound of her own ragged breathing as she turns to survey her surroundings. She now stands on the edge of a shallow ravine, the sides plunging steeply into the maw of a gully. Surrounding her are 9 peculiar trees forming a semicircle, their trunks bulging with strange lumps. At first glance, the lumps seem to be no more than burls, but as she looks closer, she realizes they are pulsing. Liska presses her hands to her mouth, backing away, but it is too late. Cracks fissure down the middle of each lump, the bark pulling apart to reveal bloodshot eyes. Human eyes. Human eyes that weep yellowed sap as they fix upon Liska. The wood has seen her. She backs away, but there is nowhere to go. Her heel slips on the lip of a ravine, and suddenly the ground is crumbling beneath her feet, the earth giving way beneath her. Her flight is short. Her feet strike a crooked sapling, the impact tossing her to the ground. What follows is an uncontrolled slide. She gropes desperately for anything to slow her fall as her knees scrape brutally over stones and sharp branches. When she finally reaches the bottom, she collapses onto the ground. She lies dazed for a moment, one single weary moment, the air knocked out of her, body aching. Then she forces herself to her knees, her hands scraping against something hard and entirely out of place. Cobblestones, laid side by side. Startled, Liska scrambles upright. Ahead of her, a cobblestone path snakes into the dark, cracked and moss-eaten and haphazard. She stares at it apprehensively. A part of her is relieved to find a sign of civilization, but another is unsettled. She has heard of roads used for traveling through the spirit wood, but this one seems too narrow to fit even the smallest cart. Yet if it is not one of those, then where does it lead? She finds her answer soon enough. Despite its size, she barely notices the manor in the gloom, tucked between the trees like a slumbering giant. It is not really a manor anyway, more the memory of one, shattered windows and flaking paint, and a crooked tower that barely remember how to be a home anymore. All is caged by a stone wall, veiled in ivy, and fronted by a gate guarded by statues of stags. The gate might have been beautiful once, but now it hangs limp on its hinges, the spires a mess of rust and iron. The whole radiates a sort of miserable resignation, as if the manor has offered itself up as a calf to be slaughtered by the Dryada. The gate hinges give a squeal of protest when Liska pushes them open, startling her. Beyond, the gardens are a jungle unto themselves, overgrown hedges corrupted by briars. Only the flagstone path remains unveiled, littered with leaves and twigs. It meanders across the courtyard, leading to a small clearing where a fountain might have stood, had this estate belonged to the human world. But it does not. It belongs to spirits and demons. So, in the middle, Liska does not find a fountain. Instead, she finds a fern, sprawling and lush and unnaturally green, so green it seems to glow. And there, nestled in the halo of its fronds, is a single flower. All right, next time we'll read chapter 3, A Not So Clever Fox. Thanks for joining us. See you again next week for Teen Story Share. Bye!